And just relate to that for a moment. Imagine what it's been like when you don't feel good and someone is saying, "What's your answer to my question? Do you understand what I'm telling you? What are you going to do?" And you're like, "I can't tell you that right now. I don't feel good. My resources are compromised. I'm on empty. I have nothing." Hi.
Or if somebody wants you to comply, think about maybe you live with a parenting partner
Hmm.
and they just want you to do it their way. And how does that feel?
And the pressure to show up in a way that doesn't feel good to you or that you simply in that moment just don't have the resources for. And imagine we are big, tall, experienced bodies. Children are small, inexperienced bodies. They need time and practice to grow to the level where they can respond in ways that feel better to us within a time frame. Well, here's a little note, kids, it's reasonable to say the ABCs in your head before a kid responds to your request or your question. It's reasonable based on how much time they need to process. It doesn't feel good. It's not what you might want, but it isn't developmentally it is appropriate for a child to need the equivalent of the time at least to say that you take to say the ABCs in your head, not rushing it, not singing it super fast.
And she said they're small, but even your 17-year-old,
Yeah.
especially your 17-year-old
Yeah.
brain is got a lot going on. It's a little bit like what's happening inside of a chrysalis from turning a caterpillar into a butterfly. It's pretty mushy in there.
Yeah.
So they also need a good long time to process and think about,
Yeah.
you know,
It's like
what they want to do.
you've been in a kayak for 10 years and you can get from one place to the other quickly. They just got in.
Mm.
And you're like, come on, let's get here now. And there's so much development and so much practice and so much understanding to achieve prior to being competent. And that sense of competence is part of how they feel happy. So we treat their experiences as if they are important and we give them time. And that makes them feel good.
Yes. And that makes them do good.
And then they do good.
What does it feel like in your body to focus on having your child feel good to do good? So you want them to clean the bathroom and you think about, let's see, how can we help you feel good so that you can clean this bathroom because I don't want you to clean the bathroom feeling icky.
Mhm.
How do we start with feeling good in order to do the homework rather than just do it regardless of how they feel?
The child, how do we get in terms of doing children doing their own homework?
And actually you.
Yeah. How do you, what make,
What
yeah.
would it be like for you to think, I'm going to clean this kitchen, but first I need to do something to feel good? Let's see, what kind of music am I going to put on?
Honestly, though, yeah.
Let me kick off my shoes and get barefoot.
Get your cozy clothes on.
Yeah. What are you thinking about feeling good before you do the things?
And here again are the answers that populate what will amount to become your self-care practice.
Yeah.
And it sounds like we're adding things, and it is initially you are adding things to your life that were not present, but in adding them, there's a kind of a trade-off in how time passes. Time feels better as it passes when you're doing things in a way that feels good to you, and there are not as many delays and not as much avoidance when you feel good. You kind of become more efficient and there's joy. So also imagine you're doing things and you feel good in your environment. All those little sparks that fly with your kids when you're not feeling great and or they're not, and you kind of interact and you're bumping off of each other. If you're feeling good while you're doing whatever the task is, your children are going to feel that too. And that ripple out effect is going to have an impact on how your entire evening, day experience with your children flows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Feeling like I haven't used, okay. So yeah, I feel like once I do all the things, I can do the thing I want to do. So yeah, once you're done, right, doing all the things,
Yeah.
I know that's not the best answer, but it's what I normally do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like clean the house before I can study. Right.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
And that is absolutely our weird way of productivity before enjoyment, rather than enjoying our productivity. It's a flip. It's a mindset flip. So tomorrow, how will my child learn to do things and do hard things and get grit if they feel good all the time? So how do we challenge children to do better if we're just requiring them to always feel good? We're going to talk about that tomorrow. Another one.
All right. How's our time? We're good.
We got
Oh,
half an
great.
hour.
Awesome. So another joy inhibiting paradigm. Children need to meet our expectations. And right there, when you hear that word expectations, might be an interesting place to just note your personal relationship to expectations. What are they like for you when you know that there are a lot of expectations placed on you? How does that affect you? And we're talking about what inhibits joy in children. This paradigm, children need to meet our expectations. So I'm going to move our little chat box so I can see very well what just
All right,
happened.
I'll get you.
Okay, there.
No.
Oh, help me out. Help me, Betty. All right, that'll have to do for now. Thanks.
Oops. Oh,
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought I knew what I was doing. I was like, just let me do it.
I think we just shrink it again.
Oh, okay. Let me let you do it now.
Well, that's okay.
Where'd it go? How do you shrink it again?
Well, I think you just, isn't it silly what it did, but it should just be this.
Okay.
Oh, let's see if I can get away with putting it over there. All right, so now nothing is blocking my view, I hope. So, what does shaping a child into the child you want do to their sense of connectedness, competence, and autonomy? So, this is the child you want. Maybe what you imagine, what you hope for, what you're working toward when you make those decisions that you make, and um, kind of feel that strain over what do I do next? How do I get these outcomes? How does shaping a child into the child you want, what does it do to their sense of connectedness and competence and autonomy? If you have an answer, you can put it in the chat. I'm going to continue forward here.
Let me pull the chat down so we can see if they do say anything.
Pull it down? Oh, I see. There's got to be a fix for this out in the world somewhere.
Yeah.
All right. There's more. Okay, interesting.
So you want me to talk about that?
Sure, you go ahead and talk about that. I thought there was more of a prompt. I think this, well, this is me.
It was me.
Yeah, that's what
All
we
right.
did. Okay.
So this idea is that you want your child to eat. And you want them to eat fruits and vegetables. And you want them to learn and study and do their homework. And you want them to be good at sports or at least participate in them or, be competent with their body, coordinated, whatever it is. You want them to be happy. So oftentimes when children aren't happy, it's a trigger for us as parents. Like, I'm doing something wrong if you're not happy. Just be happy. And so all of these things that we really want, that's like the child we want versus the child that we have. So from your personal experience, wanting your child to be happy, to eat, to have this agenda for your child, what does that do when you're trying to push that agenda to your connectedness, the child's sense of competence, the child's sense of autonomy?
Go ahead and share in the chat if you're moved to do so.
That's not funny. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, this is what I was trying to do.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, let's bring this up a little bit.
Is that where it starts with Latrice? Exactly my thought process. And I learned to do the things that would make my mom happy to a greater chance of a good day. Right. Of course. Muniba says, I catch myself thinking this a lot, that my child needs to listen to me. I think this is ingrained in me deep down. I think it's really bad for the child's self-confidence. Yeah. And someone is relating to Muniba. I spend a lot of time feeling,
Why
why don't they just listen?
Yes. Why can't they just do the thing?
And the answer is their Wi-Fi is off. They did not get the email. They did not get your email. That's the answer. But that doesn't feel good. It's like, okay, shake the Wi-Fi on. All right. So we have our fourth joy generating paradigm. Children need to have an opportunity to feel their emotions, to express their emotions, however they show up, because the body is wise, the nervous system is wise. It's going to try to detox the child of too much stress by crying, by screaming, by kicking, by hitting, by knocking things over, or just going sort of maniacal, jumping and running into things. Maybe it's not so destructive, but maybe it's quite, exuberant and seems a little obnoxious. And this is a joy generating paradigm that we give children time as love and space to feel their feelings and to let their feelings out, to be in their feelings in order to help. Imagine a cup, right, full of something poisonous, gross, toxic, whatever. And the child's cup is full. There's too much stress in the day and they want to empty it out, empty it out, empty it out. And they do that in the way that they do it. Now there's space for them to get be regulated or receive something positive. There actually is room for them to receive, and their Wi-Fi maybe is even going to be able to come online. And that's when children are going to be able to meet us if we are willing to meet them where they are. But we first start meeting them where they are by meeting them in their emotions, letting them be in those feelings that they have and not trying to rush them out of them, not treating it like it's urgent, treating it as if it's important and giving them that time. So our expectations need to meet children where they are, whether they're in deep feelings or they're a little resistant or a little scared, whatever the feeling is. From there, we refer to something called getting green, which is when a child is, to use my metaphor, coming online a little bit. Their resilience might have increased a little bit. They've offloaded some stress. And when they get green, that's when they might become interested or curious or capable of having a discussion or thinking about talking or experiencing eating food, eating some good food, doing their homework, getting, exploring their relationship to sports, maybe letting you know why they're not interested, what their feelings are around those sports, or just feeling good at all the way you hope they feel, doing better in the way that parents ultimately want their kids to do better because you want them to be happy. But children need to get green. And when they get green, their curiosity, we help them get green by remaining curious, right? Instead of, you're not doing it right, you've got to get up, get to it, da, da, da. Like, what is it like for you to go to soccer? I noticed, remember how we said there's those sentence starts? I noticed when you went to soccer last time that every time it was your turn to go in, you hesitated, or it seemed like you didn't want to. What was happening for you? Getting curious so that this emotion that has been building in this child has a moment of being witnessed and they feel understood. When children feel understood, they feel safer. They get a little safe and they gain some resilience. So this curiosity, we call curiosity the salve. Curiosity is a salve to helping children get green enough, feel better enough that they can start to explore the challenge of why they are averse to doing the things we want them to do.
The curiosity is like acceptance. It communicates acceptance for where they are. And like you're joining them before building a bridge to getting them to eat, getting them to study, getting them to go to the sports.
And for kids who may not be very expressive or use language, this might be your first opportunity, giving them, once you let them be in their feelings, might be in their feelings, might be the opportunity to hear what's going on inside of them. So we do want to treat it with that importance. Give it that time.
And not every time, like everything we're saying doesn't have to happen 100% of the time. You do have doctor's appointments that you have to get to on time. Like we're not saying never ever rush.
Nope, because that's part of life.
Yeah.
And growing resilient and knowing how and children acclimating to that aspect of life is part of their healthy development. They live in this society.
So they're more likely to be able to rush with you
Hmm.
if the lion's share of their experience with you
Hmm.
is that you're giving things time.
Hmm.
They'll have more resilience for that.
So this is a paradigm shift from being focused on or pursuing or trying to create or demand the kid we think we want and going into acceptance about the kid we have. This, for me, immediately relates to that giving a child an experience of being inherently worthy, just being wanted for who they are and being accepted. This is the kid I have.
This isn't easy, by the way. I'm not saying it's easy. We're not saying anything's easy.
It's not easy. It is kind of, there is a simplicity to some of these tools. They're
Simple, but not
simple
easy.
but not easy, which all the great healing modalities are. They're pretty simple, but they're not easy for a while. And, we've worked with a number of families, and what I see is that within the first year, it's trying it on, it's starting to fit, making adjustments, tailoring it to fit you. And then in the second year, it's like really moving with it. But along the way, so don't think that it's going to take a year before you get the benefits, because every time you make an action toward this approach, there is a result. There is some kind of, I've never had a parent say to me, I didn't notice anything different at all when I tried this hunter-gatherer approach to my child. I hear them say, this thing happened. And that helps the parent become more resilient because you're getting some good feedback from your body that your choices are working for your children, which of course we know is what your values are. You want to make choices for your children that feel good to you and them. So from the kid we think we want to the kid we have. Kids get green when grown-ups get curious.
Oh, you remembered.
Kids get green when grown-ups get curious.
Skip to the next one.
Okay.
Now we're going to go deeper into
We're going to explore the answer to how do you empower your child to grow by meeting them where they are. Some of you might already start to have ideas. Okay.
I like that my daughter is feisty and don't want to crush that, but definitely wish she'd do what I ask. Yeah. We hear you.
Hey, there's a dopamine reward when your child complies. So that's real. Like, let me get that good feeling that I get when I stop feeling you as resisting me. This is something we really explore in our course as well.